Hello everybody, Fixxxer here, back with Firewatch, the audio tour.
Which tree am I supposed to internalize again?
Top row, second from the left. Head to a place named after that tree, and you'll have a wonderful afternoon.
Sounds good to me. So, we're heading south. My frames are just dead. Alright, is this anything new? No. Alright, so what we got here? We don't have to visit any of them until the very, very bottom. Right. So we're going this way, right? I can't look and walk at the same time. Sure. Looks good to me. Let's run. So after that, I'm pretty sure right after that, we go straight up to the Wapiti station, right? If I remember correctly. Closed. We don't actually have to jump on the damn rocks. Oh my god, I can't believe people leaving shit out in the rivers. It's ridiculous. Alright. Hopefully that station that was invisible or not there last time was just a bug, and maybe it'll be there this time. I think this is the Pork Pond one. We did this last episode. Is it closed out, or does it say something different? Who are Panic Inc.? It's different.
Hello, my name is Cable Sasser. I am the co-founder of a company called Panic here in sunny Portland, Oregon. With me is
Stephen Frank. I'm the other co-founder of Panic. And what are we doing here by this snowmobile?
Why are we by a snowmobile, Steve? You see, the Snowbro logo on the snowmobile is our one content contribution to the game of Firewatch. Jake asked me to design that logo, and I did. And I think we can safely say this game would not have shipped if it weren't for that logo. That's not true at all. I'm very sorry. Steve, what is Panic?
Well, Panic is a company that makes Mac software that we started back in 1997 or so. And, of course, recently we've done iPad and iPhone software as well.
Sure.
And we were approached by Campo Santo to see if we wanted to fund a video game. So how exactly did we get involved in that?
Good question. We made one of the first MP3 playing apps for the Mac called Audion. And as was the style at the time, being the late 90s, you could make your own skins or interfaces for it. One guy made some really cool skins, and his name was Jake Rodkin. And Jake Rodkin, of course, went on to Telltale Games. We kept in touch with him. Him and Sean Vanneman left to try to make their own game. They came to us. We said, I think we have a little bit of money in the bank. We can maybe help you out with this. And it worked. We're here, and we made this game that you're in right now. Our contribution was primarily financial, but we also put on a really cool event for GDC, which was this super themed, we got to pretend that we were Imagineers kind of thing. We did some QA, we sort of were sounding board on ideas, and we also did Photodome. It was an incredible experience for us to get a taste of what it was like to make a game through these guys, and we've always been curious about that world. And it turns out the gaming market is kind of awesome, and a lot of people play video games, probably way more than buy professional Mac utility software. And games affect people in ways that our current software doesn't affect people. You know, you get fan art, you get these incredibly emotional fan letters about how this game touched people. It was been incredibly rewarding for us to work on this thing. So that leads to my next question, Steve. Would you do this again?
Oh, absolutely. I want to see what the sequel to Firewatch is. It's going to be a snowmobile racer, probably.
Yeah, I think you do trick jumps.
Henry versus Delilah.
Oh my God. And Sonic. Can we throw Sonic in there too?
Gotta have Sonic.
And Cream the Rabbit.
Yeah.
I'll cut that part.
Okay.
Thank you for playing Firewatch. We are happy to have been a part of this game. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed being a part of making it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Check out Henry's hips. And he's supposed to be a little bit chubby, but he does have a little gap in there, too. I mean, a little bit of a love handle, but those hips, man, holy cow. Those are some hips.
Sean here. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Sean. The hike to Cottonwood Creek,
The one you are ostensibly on right now.
it is a thing that changed a couple of times in the game, and it was actually one of the bigger spatial changes that we made over the course of Firewatch. The place called Cottonwood Creek on the map is now in, like, due south of the middle of the map, but it actually used to be north of the lake. If you ever head over there, you'll notice there's a lot of cottonwood trees there. There's cottonwood trees in both places.
It was originally where we ended up with it, though. It started where we are now.
And then we had a crisis of conscience somewhere in the middle of the game, and what is actually walking around in Firewatch fun? Should we condense everything
Is
down?
the core mechanic of the game fun? Oh no, hedge.
You hit a point in development sometimes where you question these things, and we said, is this going to be too big of a deal? Do we want to put Cottonwood Creek right next to the research site? And we did it, and it was still pretty good, but I think as all the pieces laid out into the game, once the music started coming in, once a lot of the sort of incidental, ancillary conversations started coming in, we were able to sort of breathe a big sigh of relief and go, oh, it is, all the stuff, all of these parts seem to be working. And then we went, all those parts are working, and we made Cottonwood Creek like 3 inches away from the research site gate. Put it back. And it was a pretty quick change to put it back.
Yeah,
but
it was very quick to put back, but I had a panic attack because I realized that having everything so condensed when Cottonwood Creek was over by the lake just totally hamstrung my ability to get in some of the dialogue that happens here. And I think this stuff's actually really important to the story and the character development of these two people. And I think with like 10 weeks left in development, maybe even less, it was a very short runway, I went to Jane and Jake and I was like, I think we have to move Cottonwood Creek back. And then beads of sweat appeared, and then they thought about it for a second and went, yeah, okay, I think it's not going to be that big of a deal. Because I had already been like, it's not going to be that big of a deal, we can just, and it was fine.
It turns out that what it took was me literally picking up the cash box by the lake and the cash box by Cottonwood Creek and doing like the little magician like shell game swap, and then I changed the labels on the map.
And it worked.
Cool. All right. So it looks like this was just a little mislabeled on the map. That's all. That's it. So now there is a box down here that we have to rummage through to get the new walkie-talkie, radio, whatever. And my FPS, I don't know, man. The FPS in the audio tour seems to be completely hit versus the game. The new radio you don't have to pick up.
Hey, it's Sean.
Hey, it's Chris. Here in this Cottonwood Creek area where you have to get the new walkie-talkie that Delilah has planted for you or had planted for you, it is possible to just never pick it up in the first place, go straight over to the research site. And that's in part because it's in a game like this where we aren't constraining your movement. There isn't really anything we can do to force the player to walk to a certain place and do a certain thing before going to a different place. We would have to put up some kind of infinite wall or something between you and the research site to stop you just going straight there. And we didn't really want to do that. We thought about it, and we really could not think of a good reason to do so.
Which then meant that the entire research site scene had to be written, had to be bifurcated, and then written to support the new radio versus not having the new radio. And that was really hard. And then had to be like logically programmed to support both of those things. And the way a lot of the branching sort of dialogue stuff works in a game like this, it's not like a choose your own adventure where you go to a different chapter. It's really, the game is looking line by line through the hundreds of lines that it takes for the characters to communicate their stuff while in the research site. It's going line by line and playing the truest one. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the lines are shared across has new radio versus doesn't have new radio state. It's jumping in between ideas that both hit upon and changing Delilah's response most of the time. And playing through that and finding those spots and writing with that level of detail and branching is really hard. And we would probably find a new way to do it in the future.
Maybe, yeah. No, it's hard to say. We tried hard to think of a way around it, and we really couldn't. And it affected everything. It affected writing. Here's a weird one. It affected music, because if you go all the way to the research site without getting the new radio, typically when you have the new radio and you go into the research site, there's this music that kicks in. What if you go to the research site without getting the new radio, not because you were intending to skip that part of the game, but because you just wanted to go check it out, to doing the video game exhaustive thing of like, I'm going to check every place before I do the thing, but I'm going to go back and get the radio and then do it. How do we read your intent? How do we as the designers know I'm intending to skip that part of the game, I'm not intending? Do I start the music cue? Do I not? There were a lot of different areas where we had to just take our best guess basically about, well, if this and this and this, but not that, like, we think this is what the player means to do, and we're going to support that. And that was just something that we constantly had to live with throughout development.
I wasn't paying attention. I forgot what the code is. Or was it like... Hold on. I forgot the code. Isn't that funny?
I'm here at Cottonwood Creek.
Or did she not tell me it yet? I don't think she told me.
I just checked it, and the code doesn't work.
It's because I changed it. It's 5678.
Are you kidding me?
I was in a rush.
Perfect. I don't know. What is this right on here? I don't know what that adds. Interesting. Get a new radio, which does literally nothing. Doesn't change anything.
Good. I spent all day getting you that radio. I hiked to a cash box, lied to a ranger, lied to another ranger, and hopefully you are now holding a clean, untapped radio.
Hopefully.
Holy fuck, Henry. We have to get into that site.
And another thing that's awkward, she came all the way out here to put the radio...
Whatever these people are doing is illegal, right?
Alright, I'm gonna trigger this to...
We need to find out how they're doing it, why, everything.
Tell me everything right now, all of it. You know what's going on, and you're gonna tell me right this minute.
Why would you think I know what the hell is going on? I snuck out in the middle of the night and figured out how to get you a new, untapped radio because what, I'm fucking with you?
Too funny. Maybe
The most important thing, Henry, is that we don't turn on each other.
Maybe you're not real, maybe I'm losing my mind.
Maybe it's a hidden camera show. Maybe it's just people getting their kicks. Maybe it's... I don't know.
Maybe you're not real. Maybe I'm losing my mind.
What?
Julia.
What happened to Julia?
Oh, because we never told her, so it's... Yeah.
Nothing. It doesn't matter. Just maybe there was something in the water, or our condo was underneath some power lines, and you, Delilah, you're not real.
Henry, you are losing it. I don't know everything that's happened to you, but you have to pull yourself together, okay? I am real, okay?
Oh, boy.
Henry, sweetie, I am real, and this is happening. I'm as real as the sky is blue. Take a second, and then call me back.
So,
I'm on your side.
this is another problem I had with the game. This specific part here. So, she is over in her tower, which is to the south of here. And she comes up here and drops a radio off right there at cache 308. Two Forks is right there. I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. So why couldn't she just have met Henry, right, and given it straight to Henry? Because she had to deal with other rangers, she said, in order to do this. Or she could have simply just dropped it off right at my tower or something, right? So, I don't know. That's, again, it's a minor gripe, but it's a little bit of a plot hole, in my opinion. So anyways, we're going north. Which way's north? That way's north. Never reached Treasure Wheat. Am I supposed to talk to her again? I don't know. I'm going north. I'm hitting the wrong button. Shift is the talk, not run. Yeah, my frames are just getting wrecked.
Hey, I just thought of something not great.
Keep it to yourself, Delilah. I've got shit to do.
What is it?
I filed a report that said that neither of us ever talked to or saw those girls, the ones that went missing a few weeks back.
Oh, shit.
My thoughts exactly.
Our radios were tapped. And now someone probably has a transcript of that entire conversation.
And I've filed a report that's a blatant lie.
You shouldn't have.
Those girls are still missing.
Yep.
Way to go.
Fuck, Delilah.
Fuck indeed. We really need to get to the bottom of this.
You just stay in your tower. I'll handle this. I got it.
Nope.
Alright, and the first one that is available is the one at Jonesy Lake. Alright. Yeah, man. I don't... Maybe it's all the dust from the fire, the ash. Maybe that's what's killing my frames. I don't know what it is. But we're off to Jonesy Lake. And Wapiti. Yeah, look at that. Did you see that huge drop in frames? Holy cow. I don't know what's going on. Our baffling process.
Hey, it's Jake again.
And Chris.
And Sean.
Hey,
And
everyone.
we had a design
Hey,
for
guys.
this tape, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, then you're
Anybody?
completely in the spirit of our stupid design process.
Ah, yes. That's what this tape is about. The design process for Firewatch.
It's really bad to admit this, like, on a recording that we're
But you
releasing.
purchased this
But
game,
you already,
so
and
you're
if
inside.
And if you played this, you already completed it, so you know that we nonetheless finished a game. One of the big things that we constantly ran into on the design side on this game was, okay, how do we reconcile this like linear story that needs to be told with something that is allows some degree of player exploration and choice and like a big world that we tried hard to not just like hard gate absolutely everywhere. But that meant we had to come up with a lot of just weird creative solutions to why you had to go to a certain place or why you couldn't go to this place. And frequently we would forget what those
We'd forget
were.
why it happened. For instance, the commentary Firewatch Audio Tour document says that this node should lie on day 15, and I'm sure that we had a really hilarious and apropos reason for why this remark should happen on day 15.
Oh, we had a very, very great, very strong design idea for day 15 that tied a bunch of stuff together that didn't get written down coming out of a meeting and was lost to the...
Oh, and we all laughed about it when,
Oh,
when we
geez.
sat down to record this commentary node, and it's perfect that this is on day 15. So I'm sure you as a player, this is like the most perfectly timed conversation or moment in the commentary to hear about this, but we don't know why that is.
But because like content games like Firewatch are designed around ideas and sort of loose concepts oftentimes, as opposed to systems with hard rules, it's easy to forget the decisions you made, and then when you do, you agonize over the perfect solution you kind of remember having for days until you finally just let it go and move on and come up with something else.
You have to
yeah.
You have to trust that if you blow it up and come up with something else, it will probably be functionally about as good as the reason that you forgot.
I mean, I think there are probably parts in this game that we redesigned 3 times, and I think what ended up happening was we sort of internalized all of the requirements of each of those particular things so often that it gave us a better understanding of the whole game, which is maybe just a horrible justification for
We got very
us
good at
being
anatomy
bad.
by reopening up our patient over and over and
Right.
over again
Right.
and looking at
That's
his
exactly correct,
insides.
yeah. Yep.
Yes.
So enjoy the result of our stupid labor.
Man, I bet people won't even be on day 15 when they hear this in the final commentary.
I actually don't know what day I'm on. Where does it say? I'm not sure. Doesn't matter anyways.
Hi, Jake here.
It's Ollie.
So I guess we're going to talk about Crime by the Numbers, a crime series.
Yeah, I think this came from the desire to make a very video gamey sort of collectible series. That's something that you could collect across the course of the game, and also my desire to just design book covers because I wanted to.
Yeah, I think that you did that first. You did a first batch of book covers, and it was Stephen's Room and the Jay Allard self-help book, and
Wyoming,
Birds of Wyoming, and it had Death Strikes at 2. And we all decided as a group in a stupid, loud meeting that took up the whole office that it would be hilarious if this was in fact one of like the Sue Crafton alphabet murders or
the Dick Francis horse racing
every single
series.
one is about a jockey who is killed.
Well, we thought that our idea for a series was somewhat like ridiculous, but then realized that Dick Francis had written over 40 crime stories about horse racing.
And it seems like just between office conversations and long walks home from the office, we've came up with all 10 of these, and then you drew them.
Yes, that's exactly how it happened.
The
end, but people seem to like them. We've seen people trying to collect all of them across the course of the game.
You get no achievement for collecting all of them.
Sadly.
Yeah. Thanks for jerks.
I didn't collect all the books. I was reading them at first until I realized that they didn't really have any kind of bearing on the story. They weren't any kind of hints or clues. They were just random. The only purpose they really had was to show that was a very common hobby that people had while they're working at a Firewatch tower. That's about the only purpose they had. For me,
This
anyways.
is Jared Emerson Johnson from Bay Area Sound, and I did a lot of the sound design for the game under Chris's supervision.
And it's Chris again.
So we just want to talk a little bit about the Foley and the interactive elements of the sound design for the game. For the most part, I would say like 95% of the time we're recording all of that originally for the game rather than relying on library sounds and stuff, which, often is the case.
Yeah, and we actually started off using a lot more library sounds, and we ended up redoing almost all of those of that implementation because, Jared, I'm curious to know how you felt about this, but I just felt that stuff was too big and punchy for this game. We were telling a game that was so much about this human scale drama and in some cases ambiguity, and then also just very naturalistic in how the wilderness was presented, that it seemed almost like putting too fine a point on it to have sort of traditionally big and punchy Foley and sound effects behind it.
Right, yeah. We'd call it gamey sound design, which is usually a little bit larger than life and big, and sometimes that's important because the player needs the feedback of
when you get punched out by Goodwin. There's a couple moments of like that big outrageous sound design when it's really called for.
For this, we went really subtle on a lot of it. You still get the feedback, you still get that feeling like you're actually in the space and interacting with it, but it's a little more subtle, a little more tailored. And honestly, like when you have an opportunity to record live Foley, it always ends up being better than a library sound, even in the big gamey games.
Oh, sure.
And so for all that, we just went out and either went out to a fence and recorded a fence, or I got out my backpack and just spent several hours just getting every kind of little rustle and clank of the carabiner.
I think you gave me like hundreds of different
well, and
sounds for this.
of course you're not going to use all of them, but you need to be able to find exactly
I sifted
the right.
through every single one and found the ones that matched the animation like as closely as I possibly could. It was
what really mattered to me as I was playing the game and we were talking back and forth was really making it, when you are interacting with something in the game, when you're moving a fence or opening a door, entering a new space, that it really feel like you're there, because so much of the game is just walking around and talking. So when you actually get a chance to pick something up or interact with it, I wanted it to feel kind of special.
As development of the game went on and it became clear that sound effects and ambience were going to have to do so much of the heavy lifting, it was incredibly intimidating for me as a first-time audio director, but I'm ultimately actually really grateful for that because it was just so intrinsic to the game and had such a big impact on the overall experience.
Yeah, and honestly, with every new game, there's a certain amount of kind of reinventing that needs to happen because you have to, you just have to keep playing the game, put the sounds in. Okay, these ones work, these ones don't work. Play the game again. We probably did that, I don't know, like 20, 30 times over the course of the production. Just, okay, this is working. Oh, no, this has changed, so now we need a new thing. And that's how you make a thing that feels good in the end. So
there you go.
So I didn't proceed because that's going to trigger a lot of dialogue. But one thing I wanted to comment on is the use, the sound effects, and the use of like stock sounds or sounds from a library or a store or whatever, sound effects. So trees waving in the wind, birds, people chatting in the background, things like that. And it actually, you don't think much about it as someone playing a game, but as a YouTuber, it actually can affect you because these sound effects, they can get from like freesound.com and whatnot. They're all Creative Commons sounds that people have made, and you can go there and use them. I've used them myself. And the problem when a dev uses them in their game, which I can't blame them because they're free, right? Or some of them have a very inexpensive commercial license that you can get. But a lot of them you can get are free, even for commercial use, Creative Commons. So the problem is they use something like birds chirping or people chatting, put it in the game, and it'll actually trigger. What happens is a musician will then use these sound effects in a song. Believe it or not, I mean, just about anything. I had one sound effect that I used of people like screaming, and it was something I did in a Minecraft video to kind of simulate a fire happening and people panicking and whatnot. And it was a Creative Commons sound that I got, I think, at freesound.com. So it's free to use and it's royalty free. Perfect for someone like me to use. Just the right price. The problem was eventually a musician used it in his song. So he went and got this free audio file of people screaming. He used it in a song, and the license was okay for him to sell the song, but then he uploaded the song to YouTube, and YouTube made a match between the people screaming in his song and the people screaming in my Minecraft video, and it says that I infringed on his copyright. So when devs use those things in their games, it actually affects YouTubers. You'll get these random copyright claims. It's not a claim technically, it's a content ID on the game, and that's a pain in the ass for YouTubers to deal with.
I smashed open the gate. Should I try to fix or hide this?
No, screw it.
Okay then. Ow!
Cool beans. We'll hold that. Oh, I got an achievement for that? How come the achievement didn't happen before? That's really strange. I don't think I need to report the bee sting. Alright, let's go. We got work to do, Henry. Episode's almost over. In fact, that's probably going to be a lot down there, now that I think about it. I think I'm going to end the episode, and then we'll go down to the Wapiti Station. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.